A very good morning to all the students of class 3. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today, from your English book Skyline, we are going to read chapter number 3. And this chapter is about a bucket. We all have buckets at our place. So let us find out what is going on in the life of this bucket, and does this bucket also has a name. So as I told you, we are going to be reading chapter number 3 of your book Skyline, and this chapter is called as Tucket the Bucket. So this chapter is about a bucket, and who's Tucket? Who's Tucket? So the name of the bucket is Tucket. So this chapter is called as Tucket the Bucket. So let us start reading this chapter. Tucket was the saddest bucket in the world. He had once been a gardener's favorite. The gardener used to swing him by his strong handle as he went to fetch water. "What a good bucket this is," he said. But as the time passed, Tucket the bucket grew a hole. Suddenly, he was useless. What good is a bucket with a hole? So, what is happening in the first paragraph, or in the introductory paragraph of the story? They are talking about a bucket named Tucket, and at one point of time, this bucket used to be very happy. Why? Because it was gardener's favorite bucket. Like we all have some of the other favorite things. We have a favorite pencil, we have a favorite color, we have a favorite pencil box, we have a favorite book. Similarly, for this gardener, the favorite bucket was called as Tucket. But now in this bucket there was a hole. So what is the problem with a bucket that has a hole? The moment you will pour water, the water will uh, not stay in the bucket. In fact, it will fall out. So now Tucket, which was the gardener's favorite bucket, was of no use. So that was the reason that Tucket was feeling very sad. Tucket was tossed in a corner of the garden. So it was just, thrown in a corner of the garden. So something that we see as a waste, we just throw it, right? He was left out in the rain and the sun, and he began to rust. So, a bucket can be made up of different materials. It could be made of plastic, it could be made of iron, it could be made of steel. So, iron bucket that you have, if you leave it out in the sun, and if you leave it out in the rain, it begins to rust. So what happens when something rusts? It becomes slightly it develops a dark brown color, and its condition deteriorates. It begins to damage to a large extent. "I should throw the bucket away," the gardener muttered as he tripped over the bucket. So the gardener was walking in the garden, and suddenly, because Tucket was kept there, the gardener was about to fall. And he said, "I should throw this bucket away." Now gardener wanted to throw Tucket away. Tucket did not want to be thrown away. He felt very sad. His good friends in the garden tried to cheer him up. So this Tucket the bucket had a lot of friends. So the friends in the garden said to Tucket, "Don't worry, be happy, everything is going to be fine." To cheer someone means to make that person feel better. The squirrel set him back when he fell over, and the birds cheerfully flapped around him. So these were the friends of Tucket. So there were squirrels, there were birds. "Be happy, Tucket," they chirped. So the birds told Tucket to be happy. Tucket really tried to be happy, but it was very, very hard. One day, now what happened next? One day, a little girl ran through the garden and stopped in front of Tucket. Perfect, she said happily and picked him up. Is it yours? She asked the gardener. Yes, he replied. The old bucket is mine, but you can have it. So now what happened? This tucket, which was kept in one of the corners of the garden to be thrown away, it was found by a little girl. And this little girl asked the gardener that, is this bucket yours? So the gardener says, yes, but you can take it away. So something which was a waste for the gardener, this little girl thought of using it. So let us find out what this little girl did with Tucket. Soon Tucket found himself blinking and spluttering under the garden hose. The girl was cleaning him. He felt heavy, chunks of rust fall off, and he felt quite cheerful. So now what did the little girl do? The first thing that she did with Tucket is she started washing it so that it could clean off all the rust and the dirt which was there on Tucket. So you remember the previous picture of Tucket that we had seen? It was full of rust, it was very dirty. Now see, this girl has started cleaning it. And the Tucket found himself blinking and spluttering. What is the meaning of the word spluttering? Spitting water. So you can see there's a lot of water which is being thrown on Tucket so that it can be clean. And how is this water thrown? Using a garden hose. So a long pipe that we see in our park is called as hose, and it is generally used for watering plants. Oh, you already have a big hole at the bottom, said the girl as she peered inside. So now the girl, when she looked deep inside Tucket, it saw that there was a hole. Even better, Tucket could not believe what he just heard. She wanted a bucket with a hole. So now, what was the reason that Tucket was thrown away by the gardener? Because it had a hole. But now here was a little girl who said, wow, this bucket has a hole. So Tucket was happily confused. He thought that, I was the reason for which I was thrown away, the same thing has become my quality. The girl took Tucket to the veranda. She filled him with dark brown soil and planted a tiny rose inside. This is a baby rose, she said to Tucket. Now she's ours. You must help me take care of her. Tucket was very happy. So, how had this little girl used Tucket? How had this little girl used a bucket which had a hole? She had turned that bucket into a plant by planting a little rose in it. He straightened himself up proudly as the girl finished planting. She carefully placed Tucket in the best spot of the veranda. It was a cozy corner protected from the wind and the rain. So see how Tucket's situation also changed in this regard, that Tucket was kept in the corner by a gardener. He was kept absolutely separately. But now this girl had chosen a special corner for keeping Tucket because she had planted a rose. Tucket winked and smiled at his friend. This is how you wink. So Tucket winked and smiled at his friends in the garden. Look, I am taking care of the little rose, he said. We are happy for you, Tucket, chattered the squirrels, and the birds chirped happily. So now the squirrels and the birds told Tucket that we are really happy for you. Tucket takes great care of the rose. The girl visits him every day, and so do his friends. Whose friends are we talking about? Tucket's friends. That is the squirrels and the birds. He is now the happiest bucket in the world. So you see how something which was a waste for a gardener turned very useful for the little girl. And I want to tell you something, that most of the things that we consider waste can be reused to make something really beautiful. I'll give you an example. So you look at this bottle in my hand. All right. It's a water bottle, or it's a soft drink bottle. So, you can use this bottle also as pots. So what you can do is either you can straight away put some soil in it and plant a tree, whatever you like, a tree, a small plant of your choice, or you can cut this bottle into half and then you can plant a flower in it. But you really need to take care of this. So this is how you create the best out of waste. And you can also decorate it the way you want it. So I hope you enjoyed reading this story of Tucket the Bucket. And another important lesson this story tells you is that whatever situation you are facing right now, if you are facing any difficulty in your life, it does not mean that you will always have a difficult situation in your life. The story tells you that your times can change, your life can change. All right, so I hope all of you enjoyed this beautiful, interesting story of Tucket the Bucket. Thank you so much.
Vidya Prakashan Mandir Private Limited,